Hello everyone, I got another match for you, which I played in, and this is from the Global League, and this is High Funds. I haven't covered a High Funds match I think in a while, so this is going to be interesting. And this was a match I had quite a while ago. This was in August of last year, 2023, so this was like 6 months ago or something. I'm not sure when I'm going to post this, but yeah, around 6 months ago, as from when I'm recording this. And I thought it was a really good match, so I wanted to cover it. There's a lot of tactical depth in it, and there was something. So when I got this match, I knew that Starduster was a very good player, right? And Starduster, they're at top of the High Funds ladder. And I had seen this map. I love this map. It's called Viridia Aqua. It's made by Voice of Akasha. This guy, Voice of Akasha, he makes just incredible maps. But anyways, this map is amazing. It's very, very fun. It is a mixed base High Funds map. You don't have any two base set up here. They're all like one base. And so you have this corner base, right? That can only go forward, right? You can only go forward. Then you got this corner base over here, which has an airport. It also has a port, which is important to know. It has this airport, and it can either fight this base or it can go this way and try to fight this base over here. And then this base is right in the middle, and it will want to be fighting it will be fighting in this area, probably the city as well, against possibly this base, and there's just like a lot going on. You could, in theory, also use this base to reinforce this base. This is kind of the weaker base in the map. This one just in the middle, because it has no airport and it's kind of all alone. And it's very common to see these two bases joining and just pouring down into this base, along with the airports. Like, it's next to a sea tile, so you can have a bomber threatening this tile or copters. So it's a huge deal. This base is definitely the weakest one, and this map is no stranger to naval units either. Look, there's a lot of ports. You got a port here, you got a port here, you got a port here, and you can cross around these lakes. So I have definitely seen matches where there is battleships, carriers, even subs and cruisers, but probably not recommended. I think I've seen more like making a battleship to defend here. I remember losing a match like that because I was trying to take over the space from my opponent, and there was a battleship, and I just couldn't push any further against a Drake that just demolished me. But even the battleship made here, it can also, after defending, or instead of defending, it can move and threaten this base. There's just like so much going on. And if you look at the map, as always, because there's a lot of water, you would think, oh, lots of naval, but it makes air units really strong. Air units are the real lords of the water, or of the water tiles. It's not naval. Air units really counter naval really hard. So if you see a bunch of water like this, it's because copters and bombers can just float here in the water and threaten everything. You make a copter from this airport, you bring it down here, and it can be threatening over here, it can be threatening over here. It can then jump over to this lake and threaten this base. Like, air units go crazy here. And another thing that goes really strong is artillery. Just because of how choky it is. This base is known to fall under a lot of pressure, and so you can gather a lot of units from these two bases, push forward, have artillery behind it. Look at all the mountains and the sea tiles. It's there's not a lot of space. It's very cramped up here for this base. So using artillery to push forward slowly, and make it so that if they send a neo tank or a medium tank to defend, like, you can just shoot at it with the artillery. It's gonna force some mega tank builds maybe, unless they don't, and then you can just take the base over or whatever. Anyways, this map sees a lot of play. And so my idea going into this match was, this is a tier 4 match. Everyone was going at her. Like, literally, I had to open the stats thing, and everyone above 1100 elo, everyone was going at her. And it's like, that's kind of boring. Like, why would 100% or almost 100% of the picks just be at her? Like, that means to me that either Adder is not balanced, like Adder, I mean, in this map, either Adder should be pushed up a tier, or no one is being creative enough with strategy. So I was like, I could go for Adder and just have an Adder mirror, and it's like another Adder mirror, right? It's like, no. I want to try a different strategy. I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna play with Jake. Jake has good artillery. He does have good air units as well, or just like in general. The only thing is that there isn't that many planes. If you look at this area, there isn't a lot of planes. But the thing that I was looking for is to gather up a lot of artillery and have that extra range threat all the time, and then be able to just threaten at a long distance, or even base log at a distance as well. So my game plan was equal income, stall it out, gather lots of units, artillery, like make some big units to defend and artillery behind it, and then slowly push, almost like a grid playing sort of a strategy to try to take over maybe this base or something like that. And so I'm in the brown, right? The thing is that Starduster was Adder, and we will see as we go into the match that air units here are very, very strong, and Adder has really good air units. And the thing with Adder is just that the power comes online so quickly. So let's see. As we see the little capture phase going, I just want to remind, if you're not subscribed yet to the channel, I would appreciate it hugely if you subscribe. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers on the channel, so it would mean the world to me if we can get the channel to 1,000 subscribers. It's a really big milestone in YouTube, so yeah, please and thank you. And I did take a decision here, although I was kind of mirroring what Stardust was doing. I didn't go for the early capture. I instead went for the airport, and it kind of makes sense because air units are just so strong here, so I did want to get a copter as early as possible, because as soon as you have this airport online, you can start spamming copters. This is high funds, you get a lot of income. So that's what I'm going to do, and that is what Stardust is going to do as well. The only thing is that I will be behind on airport. Like, Stardust will have both airports first, then I will, and that can be very tricky. So there you go, got the copter here, and only mine will come later. And the same here, the same with these airports as well. There's this little chain here. You go for this capture, and then you go for the port. Oh yeah, but my plan was different. Instead of going for that port with this infantry, I shifted down here because I wanted to get this city. I just really wanted to rush this, and my plan, as I made my first artillery, was to start this capture and then put this artillery on this lab. You can see it moves right there. And so, because there wasn't going to be anything in range to interrupt this, like, yes, this infantry, it would have to stop this capture to interrupt it, and then I can kill it with my artillery. And no tank or any other vehicle was yet deployed to reach this next turn. So that's why I decided to skip that port to try to rush that city. So I'm going to get that, and only now I'll go for the comm tower. Now I go for the port, and there you go. I go for the city, and then I'm going to put that artillery behind that capture. And if I'm not mistaken, my plan here was to make... Okay, I made an anti-air because I think I don't need a tank right here. It was more so because of this copter. Yeah, so my plan was I wanted this infantry to go and capture this city next turn, because this one will most likely go for this port or this one, so it won't be in range to interrupt me, but this copter will. So this copter will probably fly somewhere here, and then because this anti-air doesn't reach that city tile in one turn, I have to make it this turn. So next turn he moves the copter, and then if I start a capture and he decides to interrupt, I can kill it with my anti-air. So that was the plan. And I make a tank here to... I make a double tank actually, to start pressuring, I think, here the base in the middle. So there he goes. He goes for the city because you do get this chain here, which is nice, instead of the port. Decides not to interrupt my capture here, and brings forward the tank. And decides to actually interrupt this capture to rush this city, which I am not in range to interrupt either. So Starduster will get that city for sure. and makes a copter over here, a tank here, and infantry. And now it's my turn. And so I do end up getting the city, which is really nice. That was my whole plan. I was like, that's super cool. And I'm also locking this city as well. Like even this infantry, instead of capturing this, say it could have interrupted this capture and go for this one, I was kind of locking that. So not allowing that possibility to start us there. And now I think I do one very big mistake in this turn, which we will now see. But I do have this anti-air now, which will be in range to protect this. This copter is though in range to attack me here, so I am kind of forced to make an anti-air here, which is really annoying. So I think I do make an anti-air. But my plan here was to make a tank on this base. And I made a copter. My first buy this turn was a copter because I was like, I don't have any copters. I want to have a copter because Stardust has 2 of them. I need to have a copter. Copters are strong here. And it was a bad idea. And the worst thing is that I had move planned that, and for one split second I was like, actually change of mind, I need a copter, so I made a copter. And then I realized what a bad idea that was. That just messed up my builds. So you will see why. So I need an anti here to defend this, because this copter, if not, is gonna go unpunished. And I do want this infantry to be able to go and capture the city. This anti-air is fine, it can protect here. But because of this, now I only have 5k left and I can't make a tank here. And why do I need a tank here? Because my plan was to leave this artillery here and protect this infantry and lock this city, and the tank would protect the artillery. So that if the tank would decide to go in here and attack my artillery, then this artillery can still shoot at the infantry, and then the tank can attack that tank from this forest, or just move off the artillery and then attack from the lab. It would be a very favorable trade for me in that scenario. But I don't have the funds, and I can't join anything to get more funds. So that was a big blunder by me. Instead, I sent this tank down to reinforce, but it won't be able to do anything until next turn. Or it won't be able to cover anything until next turn. And so I have to run away with my artillery because I don't want it to get shot for free. And so now my infantry is all alone and it's going to get shot down. Boom. So I lost an infantry and I don't get to lock the city. So my initial plan worked a little bit and then it didn't work a little bit. So I was able to get this city, but I lost an infantry for free. So that kind of sucks. It's not the biggest of deals, but still a tiny setback. But this copter can't attack at anything without getting shot at by an anti-air. We get these tanks here. Definitely we got another tank, and we got another tank over here, and another tank on this corner, which is probably to counter this anti-air right here. So this is going to force me to make a tank or maybe send a copter. So I do get this city, which is really nice. I don't think I'm going to be able to deny this one though. I think probably maybe making an artillery would be nice instead of this tank last turn, and then I could have just put it on this forest and then it would lock the city. That would have been pretty nice. With an artillery in this forest, you pretty much deny that city forever, I think. So I'm gonna get those, and I'm gonna bring that tank, leave that artillery on the very front so I can actually be hit by the copter and tank. But it would probably not be recommended because then I can take out both. I have 2 tanks to take out that tank, and I have this anti-air to take out the copter. The only thing is that I can't really interrupt this capture really. So my position was kind of a little bit dubious. I think maybe I could have done a little bit better. I mean, maybe bringing this infantry over here, possibly. Instead of there, I was blocking so that the tank couldn't attack my anti-air. But yeah, tricky stuff. So now I don't have an infantry in range to interrupt that. The only thing in range would be like this tank or this anti-air. I mean, even this tank would be in range to attack from here. But yeah, tricky stuff. And I'm trying to approach here. I don't have any vehicles because I sent that tank down here. I do have this one though. So as I see that Stardust is gonna get this one, I don't want to allow this one to get captured. So I'm gonna make a tank here to defend my guys here. I got this tank. So I'm gonna try to join here and yeah, that port is gonna get captured, and this city is gonna get captured, and I'm not capturing it yet. So now we're both staring at that city like, who's gonna get that? And only now Starduster is getting this one, and was captured by this airport infantry, which is nice because it sped up these infantry. So that's why, Starduster has this city, and is now going for that city capture. Got these copters just floating around. I got my copter. It has to be just outside of range of this copter, of course, because I would have loved to just move it downwards, but this guy was right here, so I had to like move it out of range of that copter, and it's kind of protecting here. I got my tank in response to that tank, and we got an artillery here from Starduster and the capture on my city. So doesn't go for that capture, which makes sense because a lot of infantry from me. Just makes an infantry and just stands with the tanks on these cities very defensively. I'm gonna get that city. I do get this one too, and I actually go with a tank interrupt, which is risky for sure, but I am protecting it with this artillery. So I'm like locking it there, save the tank attacks from here. I can shoot at it with my artillery. So finally my artillery, well, it did get value the last turn. No, I like denied an infantry interrupt, and now it's also protecting this tank. And I make my first artillery on this side. I'm following my strategy. I'm gonna make artilleries and another artillery because I wanted to also slow push over here. I just wanted to amass the armies and push with artilleries. And as soon as the power would be close to active, I could be threatening an extra tile range. So I start capturing these. I'm not able to interrupt this one, so it looks like Starduster is gonna get that one. That city, if like as soon as you get it, it's very hard to flip it. Like if you look at the terrain, it's really, really hard. Very easy for this base to defend it, but I guess if you have an artillery, you can definitely defend it. Yeah, it's very tricky, but this one is very contested. So there go those captures, even this one, all this imagery pouring forward. You always see this base really trying to pressure this corner base, because this corner base usually is kind of split between going here and trying to go here. It usually wants to go towards the middle to join with this base and try to overwhelm this base, but it also has to answer to this, because you have one base worth of force going this way. And then if this base is going this way, it's like half a base going this way and half a base going this way. So it's like one base versus half a base. This base is going to go this way. So in a sense, it's like one base and a half versus one base. And there's that little dynamic of like decision of going to one side or the other. But then you also have the airports. So the airports are going to add a lot. So we're going to get these airports just flying around. There hasn't been any vehicle attack just yet. Let's see if Starduster goes for an attack. Okay, it doesn't go for an attack. So respects the artillery. I got away with interrupting that with a tank. This copter is just gonna float there, kind of always being one tile away from my copters, and it's really annoying because those adder powers are gonna come really quickly. So that's something that I'm gonna have to start to respect a lot, because if somehow Starduster gets a few attacks, gets the charge, boom, uses the power, and then attacks all of my copters with their copters, and then I'm left with no copters, no air defense, and then there's like 3-4 copters roaming around the map, just unpunished. So that is very, very tricky. So I do get these, to get that one. I'm like, okay, I'm happy. I got this city. I got these without interrupts, or this one. The only thing that was missing was this one. I was like, oh, I could have done that better. But I'm gonna try to set up here defensively using this city tile, the forest, putting this guy right here. And although this guy is on the road next to the city tile, for a tank to attack it, there's this artillery pointing at it. I do make a neo tank. And this might be an overbuild, honestly, now looking back at it. So you do have 3 tanks anti-helicopter versus 2 tanks artillery tank. But this might be as a sort of a, I'm gonna push you away from here, try to take this city, or just try to stall it out as well. I also get this copter right in range of this one, probably because I'm gonna make a copter of my own. Oh no, it's because it's on the show, so this is covered by this anti-air. Yeah. And this tank actually moved over here, trying to deter my anti-air or whatever. I'm trying to set up here. I wasn't too comfortable going for that city capture, just because if I would, then Stardust would have these two very high defense tiles to interrupt with infantry. So I didn't want to give that for free, and decided to wait one more turn until my armies would be in a better position to then, boom, jump onto there, especially with artillery. Like if I can start the capture and then put the artillery behind, that was what I wanted to do. And I think this is a big turn. If I'm not wrong, if I don't remember this correctly, this is a big turn that Stardust has. So my plan right here, as I'm getting set up, I'm stalling here the pressure out, right? There's this artillery, there's these copters pointing at my base and everything. There's just like a lot. Stardust could even like sack 2 copters and get a power, so I have to be very careful with that. But I was trying to stall it out. This Neo tank, I'm pretty sure, I think it was a sort of like, I'm gonna stall this out, I'll protect my cities, and then I can also force out these units. Like this Neo tank is pointing at that tank, so this can get a shot, boom, right there. So kind of forcing Stardust out. And I was just one turn away from attacking the city. So let's see what Stardust does. Decides to actually engage here, because this anti-air does not cover that infantry. And I am covering it, so this copter can attack. But Stardust is gonna get a few kills here, just attacks my infantry, starts that capture blocking here. It's gonna get a hit on my tank there, so I can't retaliate. So like in theory, it would be, no? But because of the way the units are placed here, I can't attack back that comfortably. And it's actually gonna pull back from here. This copter is gonna get an attack on my copter, which is gonna die, but it does give Stardust some charge. So yeah, it does have to pull back, does not want to give free hits to my Neo tank. And there's a T-copter that is staring at that island city. So it's something that I do want to keep in mind. I do not want to grant Starduster of these extra cities. I am the sort of stallier CEO here, so I was like, I need to have the bigger income. And here comes the Neo tank to really like really deter any counterattack from me in this area, because I was covering this copter with this one, so I could retaliate, but I can't break through and then have this tank attack there. There's just the way that the units are placed here makes it so that I can't have a successful attack. You know, pincer strikes are not useful in Advanced Wars by Web. This is a case for that. A pincer strike here would do nothing. Like, what can I do? I can attack tank, copter here, maybe not even kill this, then get an interrupt there. It's just, stuff is just not well coordinated. So I did get this kill here. Neo tank is gonna get a free shot onto that infantry, and I get that interrupt right there. And this injured copter is just gonna sit there to prevent this T-copter from going there. If the Stardust decides to use the copter, then I can retaliate, and that'd be huge. And then I'm just gonna here slowly push forward as I make my second artillery. Get this artillery nice in position there. And it doesn't cover the infantry in the city, but that infantry in the city cannot be KO'd. I guess he could. Can make like copter from the water, and then infantry, and then the tank can come in and shoot at my tank, something like that. But then I will still kill the tank with my artillery, and the anti-air could kill the copter, so it would not be worth it for Starduster. And the whole plan here is to have this artillery pointing at that one city, so to shoo away the tank, right? And I got my second artillery coming, and so I do go for the attack here because I was like, I had it prepared, so I need to do this. So I went for the copter attack. I went for this horrible trade, and we're gonna get that KO there, and severely injure that anti-air. And I do go for a beatdown, so I'm the first one to use the power here. Maybe like, why would you use the beatdown? Well, there's only really one reason, and it is to KO that tank. So I get the extra range. It doesn't show here, but it gets the extra range. KOs that tank. And I had to go for those attacks to get the charge. And then I'm able to interrupt that. Then I did not want to grant that city. And yeah, I just set up here defensively. This is block. This is... Oh, now it's showing. Why is it showing this one, not the other one? Okay. That's strange. But this is locking that city. So that's really nice. And here just defensive. Putting the tank here so that a side slip can enable this capture right there. But Starduster is going to do a very similar thing. Probably put this artillery here, pointing over there. It's very similar to what I'm doing. I pretty much have artilleries on these 3 fronts, and same from Starduster. One from here. Artillery from this one is a classic because there's only one way to go here. So making a tank on this base doesn't make that much sense. I mean, it does help, maybe an early tank, but artilleries are kind of the way. Just infantry and artillery and slowly pushing forward. And then there's artillery over here and over here. So very similar. And I do go for my own T-Copter because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get that city. I go for the double anti-air because I was expecting this copter to die, like a side slip or an anti-air. There really isn't anything to take out this anti-air out, but I guess this attack wasn't that bad from me. What to see? This new tank is gonna get a free kill there on that tank probably. So here goes side slip, and Stardust is gonna take those out. Probably, yeah, that infantry can get the new tank killed there. Use the copter to take that guy out, and nothing reaches. Well, this anti-air does, but I think you can probably block with his infantry. Doesn't put the artillery on that city. Interesting. And goes for these tank attacks. Does not get that KO. 2, 4, 6. It wouldn't really matter. Just goes for a few attacks. Sits on these high defense terrain tiles. Puts the artillery and just kind of locks his whole position. But got a shot there on my Neo tank. And just kind of pulls back from here, but does have the artillery locking that city. Continues capping and is going to do a join cap. So it's going to force me to keep this tank here attacking or something. I use the copter and infantry. It's just going to force something from me. And now Stardust does have a lot here. I only have 1 tank after this one got shot down all the way to 1. And there's 3 tanks and a half, a medium tank. There's quite a bit. So good thing that I have that Neo tank. I have a mech. So we'll see. I guess this Neo tank can't really shoot at any tanks because there's this artillery. He's gonna pull back. We're gonna kill that copter with anti-air and take that tank out almost. Okay, so yeah, copter and infantry will get the job down to bring it down to 5, just enough to stop that capture, finish that off, and take a nice hit there, and then just block here with these infantries. Can't really start a capture because this artillery is locking there, so I have to slowly push forward. But there's not much I can do really because I can't attack that artillery right now. It's kind of it's a pretty solid position right here. But double R, oh wait, I'm skipping all that. Double artillery does like prevent a medium tank or something like that. So over here at the top, Neo tank is gonna kill an infantry, and we're gonna take out that copter, finish off a few units. It's pretty nice. There's not a lot of unit count here for Stardust. There's like this dead copter almost, and then there's only 1 infantry, and then there's a Neo tank, anti-air, copter, tank. I mean, I say only, but it's still pretty strong. I'm making another Neo tank down here. So it protects all these units. So in case the medium tank decides to charge in or something. The thing is that Stardust does have the charge for another power. So like this Neo tank could, I think, in theory, go for a hit on my Neo tank, but it is protected by this artillery. So these two are kind of covering each other. So this Neo tank can't go and just shoot at it. I think, unless, I mean, I guess you could do like copter here, anti-attacks there, and then no, actually 2, 4, 6, 7. I mean, actually maybe you could. This copter with a side slip could do 2, 4, 6, 7 attack from the city onto this guy, kills it with his infantry, maybe even with his tank. No, and then Neotank on Neotank from the road, or maybe 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the forest. Boom. And then get a shot with the anti onto the artillery. It doesn't do that much damage, probably leaves it at like 5 and then repairs up to 7. We'll see. I make an infantry and I make a medium tank here. I keep my tank there to delay a little bit more of that. And so here comes the side slip. The worst thing is that my whole plan here was ruined of like slowly pushing and building units because of that fight from Starduster. So we've really traded down here, and it's not what I wanted. I wanted to like build up units and have that one and a half bases kind of attacking this one base, but all that attack has kind of prevented me from achieving that. And actually my anti is gonna get taken out. Looks like we are gonna go for a Neotank on Neotank attack from the forest. Oof, look at that charge. So that's huge, but that's a really nice hit actually. And actually I can't really attack that tank next turn. Some really nice tactics by Starduster for sure, as well as a strategy, I think, preventing me from solidifying my forces here. So this is gonna get KO'd. Nothing is really gonna take out my artillery, but I lost a tank. I lost an anti-air and 2 infantries, as well as getting shot this tank. Just gonna pull back and actually keeps this artillery out of range of the city. I guess like I could use a power and blast anything on that shoal, possibly take it out, and then use the tank. That's why you would want a tank on this side, so you can range that forest. Like that's why this tank was there. So that in case that you would block it again, I can take it out and then use the tank to attack the artillery in the forest and start a capture. Just really trying to flip that city and put pressure on the space so that more stuff is invested here and less stuff is invested over here. And so I can actually defend and maintain the city. That was the whole plan. Another Neotank being made over here. Got medium tank, double Neotank. I'm definitely outnumbered over here. No? So I gotta be very careful of how I use my units. I'm definitely outnumbered. More infantry, more everything. Medium tank is gonna come in and try to defend this area. And just gonna move away from the city tile, but still being next to it, so that he can't really get anything. Like he can't start a capture, and then I can just interrupt it. Really committing onto not giving up the city. I'm gonna use beat down instead of block rock. I think maybe block rock didn't achieve anything. With extra movement. Probably I definitely considered it. There's just not a lot of the planes boosts here. For example, this artillery doesn't get a planes boost. Even for example, if you'd want to use this copter to take out this T-copter and then use this Neotank, the 2, 4, 6, 8 first strike with block rock here, it's from a rose, it doesn't get the extra, and there's all these 3 that can retaliate, so it wouldn't be worth it. So I say it's good to go with beatdown. What was it for? Let's see. Beatdown. And we're gonna, it's probably just for the extra firepower there and there. I'm gonna drop an infantry over there. Attack that copter, which is safe from any retaliation except for maybe a side slip. I'm gonna attack that infantry, start a capture, and not put anything in range here from the artillery and just blocking there. And do I get a shot? Shot with artillery on a tank? Probably. Maybe pull back. This is probably, I was definitely considering this. Do I shoot? Do I pull back? So we got tank, copter, anti, because yeah, definitely need anti here. There's one copter. This one will go down, so I do need another one to cover this. Oh my god, rocket! Look at that extra range. And oh, this artillery. What did it shoot? Oh, okay, it shot that tank. Okay, never mind. So this artillery shot at this one. Yeah. So now it's Starduster's turn, and it's kind of even. But position-wise, I kind of like Starduster's position more. Like, I am threatening this, but it can be interrupted by sacrificing stuff. It's just the position over here is not that good for me, because just there's very few units, no? Like, I would rather have this. I would rather have much more units in this area, like Starduster has. Even has 6 infantry, and I have, like, 2. So, even if I end up winning the overall fight, it's going to take forever for me to start a capture. I'm investing so many vehicles to attack. So Neo Tank is just gonna be a pest. My copter gets taken out. My Neo Tank gets taken out. Even gets more injured. Copter goes down, and even covers the copter here. So this copter is protected from this anti-air, and I lose the other infantry. And oh, medium tank is gonna come in. Artillery is gonna die. And yeah, my rocket is covering right, but I would have to base block. Probably not the best idea. It is the one base. I mean, they're all one base, but this is the weaker one. And it's getting overwhelmed by unit count. Look at that. Even putting the T-copter and everything, just blocking to ensure these captures and to deny any retaliation. So really strong. And then just pulling back from over here. So like really respecting this force from me, and just kind of like pulling back on the thing. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna attack anymore. I'm just gonna defend these 2 cities. I can definitely, I mean, not this turn, but next turn I could threaten something. And so I do actually go for an attack. I get that kill there. I use the anti-air. I kill that infantry, and I use the medium tank and take out the artillery. And now all this goes unpunished. I guess you could take out this infantry and then use the tank to attack some of these. But I do get to kill 2 infantry and the artillery, and I gain a little bit of a position pretty nicely. Oh, I get these hits over here. I do expose the copter, but yeah, you can see I have no units over here. This Neo Tank is forced to shoot at that 2 HP tank. Can't really take out that T-copter. I'm just gonna fly away actually from that island and use it as a blocker, and I make a mega tank, a panic, complete panic mega tank buy. And oh, there's also a mega tank by Starduster on this base, like, and it is perfectly in range of stopping that city. So, and it's adder, you know, so it's like it has the power. It can move 1 more, 2 more. So I was like, okay, I'm just never gonna get that city pretty much. I need to pull back. I need to answer that mega tank somehow. Like, I made a mega tank on this side. You usually want to answer a mega tank with your own mega tank, but I didn't have the money, so I just made another artillery. So I'm just gonna answer the mega tank with 3 artillery. So it's looking rough. It's looking rough. My copter's gonna go down, but I think it did force. So I think that was the plan. Instead of using the copter over here, which would enable this anti-air to go in and interrupt this, and they can get a kill possibly. Using this tile instead with a copter blocks it from like getting here now and interrupting. So that copter sacrificed itself to enable this flip. Mega Tank's gonna come in towards the top. Oh, actually, never mind. It gets interrupted by this copter. And makes a Neo Tank to really solidify this position, because I don't have any tech ups to answer this, so I need to make my own, so I'm just reacting. Copter's gonna go back, try to get that city. Now makes a bomber to answer the medium tank. Does go and takes this out, probably goes for that island as well. So really nice. And just really pulls back. Like the vehicles, he's like, actually panic. But does send these 2 to take out my infantry, which is gonna stop these from getting flipped. So that's a pretty big deal. And can't really go any further because there's this bomber. This bomber is protecting this anti-air pretty much with, you know, power or super. Even like I can't really attack anything. Like if I attack with this medium tank onto any of these, this bomber can reach or this artillery can reach. So pulling back a lot, but to a point where I can't do anything, and takes out the infantry so I can't recap anything. Joint caps there. Just gonna try to capture and doesn't like push forward because maybe it starts to decide to I'm just gonna send everything. Then it would kind of start dying to my stuff. Double neo tank, mega tank, rocket, and kind of forcing these to be 6 tiles away, because this one with a power or a super can reach and shoot at a neo tank or a medium tank probably. So that's really nice. But the only thing is that to interrupt this capture, I would have to use a power, so it kind of sucks. So I go for that kill there. I end up finishing these guys off. I go for a little anti-air and anti-air. Horrible trade, 7-7. I go with another one, and now leaves it at 2. But these are gonna die to this neo tank. I take out that guy so I can put the mega tank on the city and make a bomber to try to help answer this mega tank, because bombers are also one of your best answers to mega tanks. And just gonna sit there so I can sit with my infantry next turn, make a fighter to answer that bomber. There's just so much stuff going on everywhere. And I just have to pull back because this mega tank is really scary. Like it can, even this copter, like just the power active is so scary. These copters can kind of use the super. Like I put them so far away so that these can't get a hit. Even this one can't. Or this tank, like this mega tank can shoot. I just have to be really, really careful with that super. I put this tank here so that my anti-air can't get attacked. Because maybe this mega tank comes here, boom. And then tank could go 2, 4, 6, 8 and attack my anti-air. And then the 2 copters go pa pa pa. Start attacking stuff. And these 3 artilleries are covering all these 3 tiles. So, oof. I mean, if you look at the stats, it looks sort of even, but I'm really down on income, which really sucks. 44 to 54. And we'll see what happens. The city will get flipped, probably. My whole attack here is always getting countered, which is really bad for me. I'm having a sort of a decent attack here, although I only have 1 infantry, so I won't get damage value. This is being neutralized, and this is sort of stalling out. Slowly moving forward with this mega tank, staying out of range of the extra range artillery. Getting some shots there because I don't have any air defense here, so these copters can kind of shoot at stuff. It's really, really annoying. And makes this fighter to answer my bomber. So it's gonna really stall out. And at this point, like if it keeps stalling out as it is down here, it's not gonna go well for me. Although maybe Jake is like the stallier, but not really, because in high funds Adder is really, really good, as we've seen. So I need to make something happen, but I don't have much cards left. So the only thing that I have left is to start this capture. It can get interrupted by this copter, very annoyingly, with a power. And I can't do much more over here. This medium tank is going to be able to come forward and be defended by this artillery. I do get a little interrupt there with this copter, bring the fighter, but I decided to resign. I could have kept playing on. I could have definitely kept playing on. But I think the position was so much better for Starduster. The extra movement with Adder is just so much stronger. Honestly, I don't think that Adder should be tier 4 in this map. Should definitely be tier 3. It's just the air presence is so strong. So many threats early on and early advantages. It's too much. And I think Starduster played really well, especially that attack that was done here early on. And just splitting my armies. It was just one turn, one turn more, so I could join the armies on this city. You know, if we go back, let's see. It was this turn. Like, oh, if I would have had, I don't know, maybe if this was a tank, I don't know. I was just one turn too late. Definitely, maybe if I didn't make this copter was probably what lost me the game pretty much. So this copter didn't achieve anything. Like timing wise, it didn't do anything really. It didn't cover anything. And what they do is just flew over here, and it even got shot by that copter. So this copter got no value whatsoever. And what it did, it made me not be able to buy a tank here. Probably being all dizzy, but yeah, I couldn't make a tank here, and so I had to pull back this artillery. So I lost this guy, and then I did eventually hold the city, but I lost this infantry, and it kind of forced this tank to go down here to support this. Maybe this tank should have stayed here. I'm not sure. I think I used that tank to then interrupt the capture next turn. So yeah, it was kind of necessary for this whole play to send that tank down. But just that one tank was just the one turn enough to be one turn late here, and then the deciding attack by Starduster going boom. Or actually next turn goes as I am almost set up. I'm locking that city with his artillery, and I'm set up to next turn just jump into this area and take it over. But Starduster decides, no, I'm gonna attack. Sure, I'm gonna get shot at back. Copter attack, like everything will get kind of shot at, and makes a Neo tank because it's like, yeah, I know my stuff is kind of gonna die, but there's a Neo tank to answer, and there isn't an answer to a Neo tank right now except for this artillery, but artilleries don't really answer Neo tank that effectively. And so this was really smart because it splits my forces, and it makes me like I have to use these 0 defense tiles attacking into 3 defense tiles. A copter against copter, you know, it can deter a copter, but it's not that great, you know, because you want to kill a copter. Just the fact that you can't kill that unit is huge. Like, I could attack it, but it's still blocking me, it's still separating my armies. Imagine if this was an anti-air, this copter was an anti-air instead. Then I could kill that copter, I could kind of join, like, a lot of other tactics would be available. But yeah, that attack was huge, and just a very solid play by Starduster, putting out the fires here, just investing as little as possible to defend, and then when needed making the panic buy button, and then capturing but then not pushing too far into there, just like pushing back, like respecting the powers. Just a very good balance of tactics, know when to attack, know when to pull back. I thought it was super solid. And you know, in part it did feel like as at a CO disadvantage, just the powers was huge at the very beginning. The fact that these copters could kind of just sacrifice onto my anti-air, or you know, a few tank attacks meant that I had to be keeping my copters like another tile away from their copters. It was a huge deal. But I still think that Starduster played much better than I did. Almost like flawlessly. Like I had that one mistake which led into this, and then a really big punish and a really big fine by Starduster there. I just thought it was a really good match. So I hope you also liked it. I hope you learned from my mistakes as well. I do like to watch my defeats so I can learn what I did. Hopefully you can learn as well with me. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.